Hey guys, so here bringing you another video. Now welcome to an episode of League Discussion. So we naturally do these when an important topic comes up in the League community or something may happen within League. And I want to make a video specifically talking about that thing. So something happened a few hours ago of me making this video. Your guys will probably see this tomorrow. But basically a Rioter called Riot Brightmoon, who is officially the lead producer of gameplay on League of Legends, tweeted out, if you could improve something about the ranked experience in League of Legends to make the climb better, what would it be? And they said note 1, note 2. He may not respond to everything, but he's taking notes and like doing the general themes. And secondly, fixing the client is already a priority that Riot has. So there's no point mentioning that. So the first thing I will say is we're going to have this as a QT discussion. It's a partnered website of mine. It'll be linked down below, and for joining in the discussion, if you want to go onto the QT website, we'll be giving out some Riot points and potentially some League partner codes if you do go over there. It'll be linked as the top link in the description. So yeah, go leave your feedback about that. And what do you feel? But what we're going to be doing here is giving what I kind of commented and kind of expanding out from that, because it seems like quite a lot of people agreed with me, and I had several points. So we're going to go through one by one, and I'm going to explain it. And there may be a couple more that obviously Twitter's got a maximum amount that you're allowed to type. So number one that I put personally is I potentially even might be the biggest one is punish toxic people who actively ruin games more. I think the last couple of years has seen, at least in my experience, a greater amount of toxic players who are getting away with it. I guess they're leaving games, inting, like you guys have seen recently. We're starting the Smurf series because how frustrated I am getting with the quality of the main account of people are leaving. Within my last 5 games that I've played on my main account, we had 2 rage quitters, and then we had that Draven that if you watched the earlier episode on Shen. So in my last 5 or 6 ranked games, 50% of the games, 3 of them, we had trolls. That never used to happen, but it's happening more and more. And I think it's happening more because they kind of know they're not going to get punished. So that sucks. So I do believe a big way of helping ranked is just having that, like, if you do something, you will get punished for it. And maybe like they need to look at what punishments they actually give, because a lot of people have said, the simple banning people isn't that effective because all they do is because a lot of toxic people generally are quite addicted to League. That's why they're so emotionally invested into being toxic as well. They'll just make a new account and continue being toxic. So maybe there needs to be something different. And the way that I've always thought about it is we've got a thing in League called low priority queue that it's for apparently not toxic people. It's the people that disconnect quite a lot. They AFK or disconnect. They get put in like low priority queue, and then low priority people play with low priority people. It kind of makes it fair. Why don't you have a toxic queue? I know it would be god awful to be in there, but like that's the point. If you're a toxic person enough to be in toxic queue, then that's your punishment. So if you are someone that gets reported, instead of getting a ban, maybe put them in a toxic queue, and then they only play against people that are toxic. And that's the point. Only. Don't make it of like, oh, they've been in queue for 10 minutes, they haven't found a match, we'll put them in the normal. No. Make their queue times longer. Make it an actual punishment. Make them only play against other toxic people, and then toxic people can flame other toxic people, and they can be in their own little world. I honestly think that is probably the best solution to it, because yes, permabans, they are relatively effective, and I think most people that get permaban do end up either reforming or they quit the game properly. But there is a percentage, let's say it's a 25% of people who get permabanned, they may make a new account and just continue being toxic. So it's not the best solution. So maybe something different, like a toxic rank queue, may be the answer. Secondly, so that was number 1. Number 2 was better matchmaking on 2 areas. One were duo queues, and the other was autofill. And what I mean by this is, for me personally, to love having quality games, things need to be relatively even. And what I mean by that is, if, like we've seen it in some of my games of, on Professor, where it can tell you who's duo, there's been instances that like 4 of my teammates are in duos. They're like, my top and jungler are duo, my bot lane's duo, and I'm in mid lane by myself. So it's like my team is like, there's 2 duos, and we're against an enemy team of no duos. How's that balanced? That doesn't sound balanced to me. So I think if what Riot should look to do is match duo queues. Of if there's a duo queue bot lane, they should be against a duo queue bot lane. If it's a duo queue jungle and top, they should be against a duo jungle and top. I think that would make it a lot fairer. Again, a lot of people are calling that duo queue just shouldn't be allowed. Again, that might help solo queue in the long run, but I think probably too many people duo queue for Riot to want to do that. A lot of people would probably quit the game because they're reliant on duo queue. So I don't think getting rid of duo queue is the answer, even though it probably is a good thing. But overall, match at least the duo queue players, and the same goes for autofill. Especially the higher rating you go, autofill really hurts match quality. And like example, jungling at the moment is in a bit of a weird place. A lot of people do rate it as the most important role in the game right now, but it's also in a weak it's in like a weak position of XP is a little bit messed up. So the difference between junglers a lot of the time in the games is vastly huge. So if you've got one jungler that gets ahead and they know what they're doing, they're going to be like 3 or 4 levels ahead of the opposing jungler. And what happens if your jungler is autofilled? Well, that's probably the jungler that's going to get really far behind. So I actually think matching autofill, like matching duo queue, is really needed. So you have an autofilled jungler, well, both teams have an autofilled jungler. You have an autofilled support, well, both teams have got an autofilled support. And worth noting, I've said it for ages, I legitimately do not know why Riot has put on such a priority of queue time, like queue speed. I don't need 30-second queue times. No one needs 30-second queue times. I don't need like 2-minute queue times. For the sake of match quality, when you're in an average league game, let's say is 25, 30 minutes, I don't mind waiting a few extra minutes to match people with their proper role, even if like they lessened the amount of duo queue that happens, or that at least they like match the duo queues. I'm okay with waiting a couple more minutes for that to happen. I think most people probably are okay for that to happen. Furthermore, it also seems that autofill is completely broken right now. So this is an extension that I couldn't put in my Twitter comment. There have been times that I'm in Champion Select and someone says I'm autofill mid or autofill top, but it's like I personally as a player queued as mid primary, but the game gave me top, yet my mid laner got autofilled there. How does that make sense? Surely the game should have given me mid because that was my priority role. So I really do think that autofill needs to be looked at quite seriously because one, I think it needs to be you match the players on both teams because it's just completely, especially the higher rating you go, it's completely unbalanced when one team has got an autofill player and the other team doesn't. Secondly, I think autofill itself needs to be looked at because there have been, as I said, instances that like IQ is mid-top in most of my games. So why would I be given top when, let's say, a jungler got autofilled to mid? That makes no sense. I put mid as my primary role, give me mid, and give the person that got autofilled mid, give them top. That makes no sense. So again, I think that needs to be looked at. So that's number 2, well, kind of 3 points there. So again, just in summary so far, punish toxic people more, and then match duo queues and match autofill players. Next up is promotion series. So I don't think promotion series are the most healthy thing for solo queue in most cases. I think they just add a lot of tediousness to it, of like, because there is the toxicity problem with League, it's the most disheartening feeling when you're in a promotion series and you get a troll, for example, and then you lose a promo, or you're in Champion Select and you're in promo series and you've got a troll, you can't dodge. That's an awful feeling. So you're kind of held prisoner in your promos. So why do they even have promos in the actual tiers of League? My suggestion is the same that they now do in TFT, is get rid of promos, but keep it kinda. What I mean by that is if you're in, let's say, Platinum 4, if you want to go to Platinum 3, there's no promo. As soon as you get to 100 LP, boom, you're in Platinum 3. But let's say you're Platinum 1, when you want to go to Diamond, then there's a promo. So only when you're actually, I think they call it divisions or tiers, I can't remember which way around it is, but when you're actually ranking up to a brand new rank, gold to platinum, platinum to diamond, diamond to master, that's a promotion series. But in between the actual, I think it's tiers, you don't need promos. They just add so much more grindiness to the game. It's frustrating. You could be on 99 LP which has happened to, let's say, all of us. You're on 99 LP, and your next match, technically, is only for 1 LP. And yes, it's doing things in the background that Riot will say, oh yeah, but it's helping your MMR in the background. Well, we don't see the MMR, so it feels awful when you're only trying to win a game to get in promo for 1 LP, or if there was no promo from going for, let's say, Diamond 4 to Diamond 3, you're on 99 LP, you're normally gaining 20 LP per game, you win your next game, or you get promoted instantly, and then you're straight away from winning that match, you're on 19 LP in Diamond 3. It's so much healthier for like everybody's mentality, and that's another point, is mentality of your player base will help overall the ranked like feeling of the game. So that's another thing. And then finally, it's something that I personally would do a lot more if this change happens. So a lot of people may know I do not dodge in solo queue pretty much ever, because I hate the idea of losing LP for something that may not be my own fault in Champion Select. So you've got a troll in Champion Select, I have to dodge and lose 3 LP because he's having the issue. Why are you even losing LP for dodging when primarily I would say people are dodging to avoid trolls? So I think the idea of losing LP is barbaric when Riot just doesn't have trolls under control. So for me, another improvement to solo queue would be stop punishing people for dodging by taking their LP away. They're not the issue. My suggestion would potentially have a daily dodge, a daily free dodge, or something like that, or a quota that you're allowed per week. You're allowed 5 dodges for free, and let's say you're in, maybe let's say you're on 1 free dodge a day, so you dodge, and maybe then you're after your first dodge of the day, your second dodge, then you lose 3 LP, which I even still think is questionable by the way, but I do think it's crazy that vast majority of the time you're trying to dodge to avoid the guy that's trying to steal your role, or the guy that's just going to run it down mid and has already said so in Champions League. That's majority of the time you're dodging. The minor, by the way, I'd say the smaller percentage of people that dodge are people who are like, our team comp doesn't beat theirs, I'm going to dodge. That may be like 10% of people that dodge. Most people are trying to avoid trolls. And I think it's just crazy that you're getting punished LP-wise for that. And yeah, again, Riot will come out and say, oh, you're not losing any MMR for dodging. But again, we don't see the MMR, so to us, it still feels awful to lose LP for something that isn't our fault. So overall, that is my suggestions so far. So again, we want to punish toxic people more. I think it's been way too long since Riot has actually brung up the problem of toxicity. They haven't addressed it, and I really think it's a big issue. Every single person that I have asked, why don't you play League anymore? Pretty much every single one of them, I can't deal with the toxic community. I can't deal with the inters, troll picks, feeders, like intentional feeders. That is the primary reason that people are stopping playing League, in my experience. And Riot hasn't addressed it. They've not mentioned it. They haven't said anything about it. And why? Like, I really don't know why you wouldn't bring that up. So yeah, punish toxic people more. Again, next thing is make duo queues even. If one team has a duo queue, the other team should have a duo queue. 100%. Same thing with autofills. And that, to me, autofills should 100% be matched per role. Of a jungle autofill should be against a jungle autofill. A top autofill should be against a top autofill. The higher rating you go, it becomes so apparent when you have someone that's maining a role versus someone that's being autofilled there. It's a free win. Like, if you're, let's say, a top lane main, and you're against a mid laner playing top, or a jungler playing top, you're 95% of the time going to crush that person in high rating, because you're an expert, let's say, of that role, and they don't play that role. They've been autofilled there. But at least if both of those top laners are autofilled, it's kind of level playing field. So yeah, matching autofill. No promos in the actual tiers of League, only promos when you're going up an actual rank, to lessen the grind for players. And you lessen the frustration. Again, it's that awful feeling of being on 99 LP and then you're in your next game and you've got to win the game for 1 LP. That sucks. That should never happen. And then finally, no LP loss on dodging games. So overall, those are my suggestions off really the top of my head, like what instantly came to me. Let me know what you think about what have I suggested. I'll be very interested to know. And like I mentioned, we're having a QT discussion. It'll be linked down below. Go there, leave your comments. If you do want to be entered for Riot points and potentially some league partner codes. If you're not interested in that stuff, you can use the YouTube comments, obviously. But yeah, that's going to be it. If you guys did enjoy, throw a like on the video. Worth noting, tomorrow's main video, if everything's going to plan, should be the start to the Smurf series, which I will just announce kind of here if you've made it this far. It is not called Unranked to Diamond. It is called Unranked to Master, and I'll explain in episode 1 why is it called Unranked to Master, because obviously that's a bit of a harder climb, but there is a reason for it. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time. See ya.